Hi crocheters, this is Joanna with Joanna Amigurumi, and I'm going to show you how to sew two parts together that don't have tails. So this is my Terra the Triceratops pattern. This is the body and the feet, and this is the head. As you can see that they were both fastened off without leaving any tails, so we don't have anything to attach them. So what we're going to do is you're going to cut a long piece of string and attach it to your darning needle, and you're also going to need some Ami sticks. These are from Claudia's Crafty Corner. You can get them from many different places on Etsy, like I did with these. So you're going to, now this will work with any project, not just this one, but this one I'm just showing you specifically for this pattern. So with this pattern, we're going to go in the this is the magic ring here. We're going to start attaching it just outside the magic ring and down about 6 rows. So let's find a good spot here. We're just gonna stick these sticks in there. These work really well for projects that are bigger like this, rather than using push pins, needles, things like that. So you can already see how sturdy that is. See, that's the side. It's about right where we want it. I'm going to put one more in, I think, in the top here, just to have some extra support. Move this one over just a little bit. You just want to kind of go over it as many times as you need, to make sure that it is even, because it is a little difficult to try and fix when you've already started, and it is a pain. You want to make sure that you only have to do it once and not several times. So when you got the head placed where you want it, what I do is I bring a stitch through here, pull it through, leaving enough of a tail that we can tie onto later. Okay? Now we're just going to get a little closer to the head. I don't need these, we're going to put them over there. I just need to get a little bit closer to the head here. Sometimes you gotta kind of work your way in a little bit. Okay, so we're close to the head. Now we're going to come in and pull up a stitch here, right around the outside. Now all we're going to do to start out with is just create a base for where we want the head to be. So we're going to constantly push this piece down so that the two are connected. Now instead of going the whole way around the body evenly, I like to skip a little bit and come down a little bit further. We're going to go around multiple times. This way we're only placing, you know, maybe 5 or 6 stitches in instead of a whole bunch before we realize that it's not as straight as we want it to be. So we're still kind of pulling tight there, making sure that this isn't coming through. And then we're going to pull in another stitch from the head. Pulling tight, again checking. We're going to come right back down into the body, right underneath where we made that stitch, and then we're going to skip a few here and come right underneath the neck. Pulling tight, pull in another stitch from the head going in and out the other end of a stitch. Pulling tight, coming down through the body, skipping a little bit here, coming out the other side of the neck. Pulling tight. I'm going to pick up another stitch at the head. Oops. Pull. Tight. Come down right where we're at and back closer to the back. Skipping a few more stitches there. Now we're getting ready to have to take out some Ami-stitch markers. Ami-sticks. There we go. And then pulling another stitch from the head. The other benefit to doing it this way is that you can see how much of the head you really want sewn in close to the body. Sometimes for some projects you don't want to sew that much of it. Other ones you want to sew more width to the head versus this width. So it really just depends on your project. For this one we want to sew a good solid width to keep this from wobbling. And this yarn that I'm using here is Premier Basic Chenille Bright yarn. So it's a very tough yarn. It's got a little bit of this fraying look to it, fuzzy look, but it's very similar to Bernat Blanket, just not as thick. So it's more of a tougher yarn. So I'm kind of picking up a lot of the stitches close together for the back of the head, since we've already done much of the front and it's not seeming too wobbly here. You want to make sure that you're not going too far up on the head so that you can see the stitches that you're making to sew this together. And I do recommend using either the same exact yarn or a worsted weight acrylic or cotton that's a similar color so that you can't see your stitches. Now we're going to start going around the head again. You can see that the head's straight there. We're going to go and pick up some of those missed stitches. Because of this yarn, you really can't see that there's any gaps, but if you're using a different brand, you might. So we're just going to go in and fill in those gaps there. You can even go a little bit wider on the head, picking up some more stitches than what you did originally when you were just trying to get the head in place by just throwing in a few stitches. And I'll do that sometimes too. I'll just pick up a few stitches very close to the center of the head, and then when I go around the second time, we'll start to come out this way. You can certainly go around as many times as you want, as long as you're not noticing any extra stitching going on. Again, this brand really isn't showing any of the extra stitches I'm doing here, so that's really nice. Just gonna keep pulling that tight and working our way around. We're almost done here. Sometimes I'll go around a third time for a lot of chenille yarns that aren't this tough, and ones that might shed maybe a little bit more. I think I'm only really needing another stitch or two here. Do one here. All right, so I snapped my yarn. I am pretty much done. We've got a good wiggle test going on here. We want to make sure we close up any holes we made with our sticks, but it's not moving. That head is on and it is straight, but I snapped my yarn. Now, in this case here, I could just move this piece or this piece closer, tie them together. You could keep going, do the same thing we did to start, and pull up a couple more stitches, which I think I might actually do, just to get a couple more in there. Leave a little bit of a tail, and then we can actually use that tail to sew this side together more. Got our tails there. I want to make sure you don't, whoops, pull through like I just did there. Let's try that again. Okay, and then come up here again with the head. It just looks like I'm maybe missing a stitch or two, so I just want to make sure we get him nice and tight back there. You just want to make sure you're not getting your tails stuck in your work as you're pulling them tight. Come through the head, back down through the body. One more stitch here. And I think we are good. So, actually, I'm going to pull one more stitch here. And then we're going to get it to attach to the other side of the head. Sometimes you got to wiggle through until you can get to your starting point. So we're going to go right here, come through the same hole as our first tail. And we're just going to tie these two pieces together. Tuck that inside. And then, of course, we're going to do the same with this side. And I'll need to just pull this piece through here. And we'll go right. Where is it at? There we go. Tie this together and stuff it back in just like we did the other side. And there you have it. So Amy sticks are going to be your best friend in doing a project like this and making sure that it is all tight, no wobble. Just go around as many times as you want. And there you have it. If you have any questions, please let me know. Happy crocheting!